I suppose I was constrained and rather silent after it, for soon she got up, straightened the hat which crescent fashion sat high on her head, and picked up her old beaded bag. "Well, I'll move on," she said in her flat voice. "I intend to try just once more to see Emily and Margaret. Then if they don't let me in, well, I suppose I can take a hint as well as anybody." I watched from the porch as well as I could, seeing her absurd hat as it passed up the Lancaster walk and then losing it again. But apparently she did not have to take the hint, and I was really relieved when the hat did not reappear. That was at 3:30. Usually Mother drives out at that time, but Holmes had secured the afternoon off and Mother was settled upstairs with a book and some essence of pepsin, and the remainder of the afternoon passed with intolerable slowness. Around 5 o'clock I walked idly toward the Crescent, to see Helen Wellington on the front porch, carefully dressed in white and yawning over a book. I dare say it was a case of any port in a storm, for she saw me and asked me to join her. I did not go up, but I did sit on the steps, to find her eyeing me curiously. "Look here, Lou," she said. "All this isn't your funeral. You look terrible." "I've had a shock, of course," I told her lamely. "I'm glad you've come back, Helen. Jim needed you." She laughed. "Jim? He needs me about as much as he needs a cinder in his eye. Besides, I'm rather under the impression that he has had you to console him." "Never mind that, Lou, I'm in a bad temper, that's all. If you could see this house. And not an agency open until morning." I looked at her. "I suppose it hasn't occurred to you to do anything about it yourself," I said dryly. "You would think of that. That's what Bertie Dean says. I've just had a row with him. If he wants to masquerade here as a servant, let him do the dishes. It's idiotic anyhow. I dare say the Crescent hasn't been fooled for a minute." "The Crescent," I told her quietly, "has had other things to think about, Helen." I did not stay long. It developed that Herbert Dean, after she firmly refused to wash the lunch dishes, had mysteriously disappeared around noon, and that Jim was pretending to read the newspapers inside somewhere. "He's scared, of course," she said easily. "But also of course he didn't do it. He hasn't the brains, Lou, no matter what you think of his intellect. And he is no prestidigitator, no matter what the police may think. by which she referred to what has been called the substitution theory as to the money in the chest. Since then I have seen a record of Mr. Lancaster's early statement after the discovery that the chest had been looted. It runs much as follows: Q. By Inspector Briggs. You are certain that nobody could have moved that gold in any quantity in a short space of time? A. Practically certain, considering its weight. Q. But you were not afraid that the attempt might be made? A. I haven't said that. I was not afraid in the daytime. The nights worried me, however. My wife often took an opiate at night to enable her to sleep. Q. Then it is your considered opinion that the gold was not taken yesterday afternoon after her death? A. I do not see how it could have been. Q. Now, Mr. Lancaster, are you ready to state that this gold and so on actually went into the chest? A. I'm afraid I don't understand. Q. I mean, are you certain that there was no substitution? A. Substitution. Oh yes, I see what you mean. I think not. Once or twice I myself tied up the bags and placed them there. There was no substitution while I was present. Q. In that case, have you any explanation of the fact that this money has disappeared? Of any possible method? A. None whatever.